Hi, welcome back to Tiny Classroom Live.
Doctor here, Don Zalou in Taos, New Mexico.
And I'm Artie Nathan, the HR guy here in Las Vegas.
As always, from Frankfurt, Maike Benner.
And Telerode.
Welcome to all of us in 2021. And we're going to sort of continue our conversation a little bit about emotional intelligence. And today we're going to sort of represent a bit of emotional intelligence as kind of a superpower and give you some of the proof of that, right? And so emotional intelligence, just to recall, is the ability to identify, to understand, and manage emotions. Allows you to see the world from a different perspective. And as many of us have learned in the last year, it can get us through the worst of times and help us enjoy the best of times. So let's start out with our discussion of different points.
Well, one of the key elements of emotional intelligence is giving feedback, a lot of feedback. People need to hear from their leaders in good times and in bad. And that means you have to be a good communicator. You have to be aware of what's going on. You have to be very sensitive to what people are experiencing and going through. And you have to react appropriately and tell them what you see, tell them how you feel, express to them what you think our goals might be, and thank them for sticking with you and putting up with what's going on around the world and making it through to this new year.
Excellent. Mikey, I think you're up.
Yeah, well, absolutely. So one of my favorite topics, which I like to consider in management in general when talking about emotional intelligence, is apologies. So, and in contrast to some common beliefs where an apology could be a sign of, strength and weakness, right or wrong, but I encourage also think about emotional intelligence to look at it from a different perspective. Apologies is first and foremost about keeping relationships, fostering them. And to apologize for minor things is not a sign of weakness, but it's a sign of saying, well, I might be the leader if I am, but I still have weaknesses, and we're all in a team. So I'm also open to also feedback that goes hand in hand. So if you get, for example, great feedback, this also, and then as a response, you can also say, well, I apologize and I'm sorry. And it's not just a lip service, but you're also actually reflect, and you make the person sitting next to you also feel that you really mean it. Then this is actually a sign of the biggest strength, and it does not portray you as a weak leader.
That's very good. I'm going to sort of tag along on that with that one, Mikey, and talk about forgiveness and humility as kind of a combination of things. And forgiveness is part of effective apologies, isn't it? And the interesting thing about forgiveness, if I say to you, boy, I screwed up, would you forgive me? And it requires you, the other person, to take some action, to say yes, or to say no, or I'll think about it. So they have to take some action. And one of the challenges when we simply apologize is that we kind of want to follow through, so that the other person does have to take some kind of an action instead of just blowing it off, And to be able to ask forgiveness and to apologize effectively, it requires humility. And being humble, like Mikey just said, being humble, it doesn't mean you're weak or you lack self-confidence. It's actually the opposite. It takes a lot of courage and strength and security to reflect humility and openness as we try to maintain relationships and build upon them and move past disappointments and challenges. So it's an interesting piece. And so on to you, Lily.
Yes, but all the points mentioned by you would be nothing without a commitment. And ask yourself, when was the last time you committed to something? Really, for 365 days, for 90 days, or for the time required. And I think this is a really powerful tool, and emotional intelligent people, emotional intelligent leaders, they know about this power and they are using it, because to commit to something is to take responsibility on the one hand, and on the other hand also to make sure that the thing you are committing for is really happening. So also taking your team on board, being there for your team, giving the feedback, apologize and forgive. And so from my point of view, it's all summarized in the commitment of every single leader, and also the ability to make the team commit as well to the target, to the goal, to the project, whatever is required.
That's very good. Thank you very much. Artie, I think you're going to take us home.
Well, it's been nearly 250 days since we've all gotten locked down with this virus. And I think most of us thought it would be over by now, that the new year would be a time where we could look ahead. But we still have to be mindful that this virus is among us. And we've probably got another month or 2 or 3 in order to get it well under control. And leaders have to lead this effort, have to inspire and motivate this effort among their employees. And they'll do it best in these next few months with emotional intelligence, with empathy, with commitment, with feedback, with forgiveness, and with apologies. All these things are critical as we go into 2021. Let's redouble our efforts. Let's beat this thing. Let's get our employees through it so we can all get back to some kind of normal.
Yes.
Let's go.
Excellent. So let's go. Thank you all for being here. And Mikey and Lily and Artie,
It's a pleasure.
great start to the new year. Thank you very much.
Happy
Yeah.
New Year.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Happy
Looking
New Year.
forward to many more episodes.